When I first learned that I was expected to read Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist before freshman year, I was enraged. Homework over the summer? It went against my most basic principles, violated my most fundamental rights. It was an invasion of the sanctuary of summer break. But because it never occurred to my 14-year-old self not to read it, I read the stupid book. I hated being forced to read, which made me hate the book, which made reading it take a lot longer, which in turn made me hate the assignment and the book even more. By the time I finished, I absolutely loathed the book. And moreover, the forces that had conspired to make me read as what I perceived to be against my will. This attitude toward assigned reading pervaded my freshman year and persisted into my sophomore year. I had by that point identified that I was pouring far more energy into hating and complaining about the books I was assigned than actually reading them. And I was getting very tired of it. So when my friend Alex said that he was actually enjoying Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities, I was desperate to find out how. But even after his explanation, I failed to understand. How could he be enjoying a book that was not only boring, but that we were being forced to read? I needed to know, because if submitting to the system and just reading the books was actually going to take less energy, then I had to find a way to enjoy doing so. But how was I going to do that when the books that we were being assigned were so bad? It was when I wrote my sophomore English end-of-year comprehensive essay that I first found evidence to the contrary, that books were in fact not bad. I was discussing the effects of parents abandoning their children and went back to Bryce Courtney's The Power of One for quotes. I found a copy and opened to the front page. The book's unabashed hook caught my eye, and just as it had the first time I'd read it, and I started reading and couldn't stop. The first time I'd read The Power of One, I had hated the book, but now I could only gape at how well written it was and how much I was enjoying it. When I recognized this fact, I realized that my attitude had been tainting everything I read. It had literally been keeping me from enjoying good books. With this in mind, I went into junior year determined to enjoy the books I was going to be assigned to read. Unfortunately, I still wasn't enjoying most of them, as much as I had hoped I would. But when I had to write another comprehensive essay, and I went back to Carlos Fuentes' The Death of Artemio Cruz for quotes, I found myself appreciating how well written it had been as well. But this was a different appreciation. I still did not really enjoy the book, and I was not as instantly enraptured by it as I had been by The Power of One. So I found myself capable for the first time of appreciating the quality of a book without actually enjoying it. The incongruity of these two qualities jarred me, but also made me aware that I was making progress in my appreciation of the difficult works I was being assigned to read. The most recent book that I noticed I was making progress with was Shakespeare's Hamlet. While I did not really enjoy Hamlet, there were multiple times when I noted the depth of Shakespeare's writing. What I noticed was that it was actually possible to use the text to support many different arguments surrounding the characters, such as what the main reason for Hamlet's descent into madness was, or whether Hamlet was indeed merely pretending to be mad. I made sense of this by arguing that Hamlet was indeed experiencing multiple emotions. He had to make sense of his mother remarrying so soon after her husband's death, with coping with having seen the ghost of his father, and with having been called to avenge. But it was the existence of indications of how each and every one of these events were affecting Hamlet and how he was interpreting them, whether shown through soliloquy or dialogue, that struck me. The reason my argument had made sense to me was because Hamlet was human, and therefore capable of experiencing multiple emotions simultaneously. But literary characters are not necessarily so deep, even at times two-dimensional. And so I realized how impressive Shakespeare's successful simulation of such a human character had been. For the first time, I was able to appreciate why the playwright was so famous. But the fact remained that I did not enjoy the play all that much. This struck me, not because I had managed to appreciate a book that I had not enjoyed, for I had already done that, and not even because this book was, moreover, a book by Shakespeare. No, it struck me because it was the first book that I had managed to appreciate without enjoying on the first read. At the beginning, I was unable to appreciate books. Then I was able to appreciate books I enjoyed on the second read. Then I was able to appreciate books that I didn't enjoy on the second read. Now I am able to appreciate books that I don't enjoy without having to return to them after the assigned first read. Throughout this progression, I've also gradually come to the following realization: that what I truly hate about assigned reading is the work that accompanies it. When I have to worry about such work, I cannot simply enjoy the book. I must take notes and look for deeper significance in every line that is the least bit abstract, when I would vastly prefer to just do those same things, but at my own pace and only when I really wanted to. It has been this realization, in part, which has allowed me to better appreciate and even enjoy challenging works of literature. I have recognized that I have misdirected my ill will to the books themselves, which they do not necessarily deserve. I still despise The Catcher in the Rye, and which keeps me from enjoying them. Going forward, I will use this knowledge to actually enjoy books I enjoy, and at least find appreciation in those for those that I don't enjoy. And therefore capable of experiencing multiple emotions. God, stupid bird!